Looks like we've got a small group here right now. Hopefully more people will pop on.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you all?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well.
Good. I guess we'll give it just a couple more minutes in hopes that we get a few more people.
If we don't have a quorum, we can just review the minutes, but the other presenters can still present.
Okay. Do we want to do roll right now first then? I mean, we definitely don't have a quorum, I don't think, because I think many of the people that are on here right now are speakers, right? Not the committee.
Benita, are you prepared to do roll?
Yes, I am. Okay.
Proceed.
Glenda Ange, Laura Beatty, Lisa Brown,
Yes.
Howard Burchett, S. Nicole Diggs,
I'm sorry, Howard Burchett here.
Leah Everett Green, excused, Courtney James,
Present.
Shannon Judd,
Present.
Thomas O'Rourke, Cornell Richards, Prince Rivers, excused, Dennis Sanders,
Present.
Umberto Trejo, Jennifer Wright. I've completed with the roll.
Okay, can you remind me what would qualify as a quorum for this committee?
I think it's 12. Benita, how many members are on the committee?
Five.
That are currently on. So yes, so we would
That's
not have, right. Yeah, so we can take care of the approval of the minutes maybe towards the end of the meeting in case we get
Yeah.
more people on. Would
Yeah.
that be
Yes,
good?
that'd be
Okay.
fine.
So first of all, welcome to the May meeting for the Affordable Housing Implementation Committee meeting. Thank you so much for being here. Those of you that just popped on, if you could just raise your hand so that Benita can make sure to, because I know that she just took the roll. I think there were a couple of you that just popped on. If you would just send her a message perhaps, but okay, we'll see if we can take care of the approval of the minutes towards the end of the meeting, which then has us at the DHA update. And I've got that listed as Anthony Scott, but I'm thinking maybe it's Anthony Sell that's going to give that. Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
We interchange for one another quite
I
frequently.
figured, yes.
We're with two Anthonys. Benita, are you gonna bring that up? Sure.
Yes.
So my presentation this evening is going to be relatively brief and straightforward. I'm going to walk you all through our updates with our DDMP, also known as the DHA Downtown and Neighborhood Plan. Update you on, of course, our major development, which is the Choice Neighborhood Initiative, and also provide some updates regarding phase 2 of our DDMP, which focuses on our Forest Hill site and Fayette Place. And Benita,
Can you see it?
No.
no, we just
I see
have,
a desktop, I think.
yeah.
Oh. Now,
Yes.
Yes. I'm just gonna, very briefly here, this is our DDMP, which lists all of the projects in which we are engaged in the downtown area. As we look at this chart, the J.J. Henderson, the Joyce, those are completed. Forest Hill Heights and Fayette Place are underway. The 519 East Main and Liberty, which is our CNI site, is underway as well. And we are looking at some plans for the DH office and county criminal justice site. That one had been on the back burner, but of recent, we have been looking at some options to proceed with the development of that site. South Side is a city site. We are now, Mr. Johnson, we are moving forward now with phases 4, I believe 3 and 4 at South Side.
That's correct, 3 and 4.
Yes. So as you can see, if you were taking a look at this and assume that this, or I like to say it's my coloring book chart, and as we actually complete projects or have the actual work underway, I will be replacing it with the actual development sites itself. So we're well on our way here.
I was just going to ask before you move on to the next slide. Can you give an update on the Hunt Street station? I don't know that we've heard about that one recently.
Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Johnson has anything that he wants to say about that, but that is a city-owned site as well.
And I'll interject right away that we don't have any plans for Hunt Street just yet.
Okay.
The building is, which is really 516 Rigsby, is the building I'm sitting in right now as I speak to you.
Okay.
And it's a place where the Community Development Department is located. This site, along with the site parcel that's next to it, which is assigned to general services and being used for storage as another building. This used to be the downtown headquarters. The site combined is, we think, a good site for affordable housing, but we have not sought to develop it just yet with the priorities that we have with the Housing Authority and us with Southside.
Okay, thank you.
Go to the next slide. Briefly, this is just an overview, I should say, of the work that's of the phases that are at 519 East Main and Liberty. Looking at this map on the what I consider could probably upper right-hand corner there where the number 1 is, that's the Elizabeth Street. That is under development as we speak. Where 2 and 3 are located, that's Commerce Street. We are hoping to close on that transaction within the next 30 days, hopefully in the next 15 to 20 days that we will be closing on that transaction. The demolition of the old Liberty site has taken place where this new development will go. So we are just waiting for the financial closing of that site to start construction. As we look at what is noted here as number 4, which is called Dillard Street. That's being developed in 3 different phases. We have the 9% allocation for the first phase, and we are going to be moving forward with that. So we are about to submit the tax credits for phases 2 and 3 of that. And then the last site there, last phase, which is phase 5 on this map here, and that's going to be the East Main Street site. So, I mean, over the months that we have been having our meetings, and I've been giving you updates on where we are with Elizabeth Street. Within the last 2 weeks, we have had some phenomenal developments, I would say, in the last 3 weeks with Elizabeth Street. As you see that we've gone from the primarily the vacant sites from where we went forward with the earlier elevator shafts, and they sat there for quite a few months, and everyone was wondering what was going to happen with the site. We had some challenges with the site. We had to go in where we had to issues with where we had to put the retainer walls in. Due to soil conditions, we had to remove the dirt and then bring in new dirt because there's a major city water main that runs through this site, and it had been leaking and the soil was saturated, so we could not use that soil for the retainer wall. So we had to bring in new soil and compact that soil in order for it to for the retaining wall to go in. So good news is now you see that photograph in the middle, which basically was the first floor of that initial building. We are now, the second floor is almost put in from framing on that first building. And on your lower right there, where we had started setting the foundation for the pouring, for the pouring of the foundations for the second building, which is an L-shaped building on the site. On Monday and Tuesday this past week, those foundations were put in place. And so now we can proceed with the vertical construction there, which is the framing of those two buildings. We are hoping to catch up on the site. We are running a little bit behind because of site conditions that we have encountered. And we're still looking at a Q2 2025 completion and delivery on this project. Commerce Street, I spoke about earlier. We are waiting for the financial closing of this. And Mr. Johnson knows that we have been working very diligently. Our community, his department, the city is investing Mr. Johnson, about $8 million.
We're investing $8 million of home investment partnership funds.
Yes. So we have been working through all of the many changes that we've been dealing with to get to the closing. I think we are finally there. The big milestone for us now is to upload all of the documents for the closing and push the button and send it to HUD. So we hope to be there early next week, and then we can proceed with the financial closing of this site, and hopefully at that point start planning for the groundbreaking ceremony for the site. So be on the lookout for your invitation for that event. Now it's want to switch gears very quickly and talk about DDMP Phase 2, which includes Fayette Place, Forest Hill Heights, and the DHA office and county criminal justice centers, which I spoke about earlier. If you want to, next slide, please. Just a brief update on the Forest Hills site. The Forest Hill Heights site, excuse me. The plan is still for roughly over 700 units. We were talking about roughly 850 units on the site. We have, working with our developer, we actually have a new architect on staff, and they have made some recommendations to some modifications of the site plans. As you look at the site plan here, you see a couple of green areas to the top of the site plan. That is existing green areas that are a part of that site. We're going to retain that, and within that area, there's going to be a walking park. It's one of the higher elevations on the site, and just to based on what we were looking at earlier, to move that dirt down and move it to the lower part of the site would have been additional costs. So they want to go ahead and take advantage of that natural area. So now that's going to be reconfigured and used as walking trails and areas for the site. And then on the lower, at the lower portion of the site, there's a park that's going to go in there, and that's going to be natural because and we're going to put the retaining area there's stormwater retaining area there. Also, making some modifications to the site, taking advantage of the natural contours, the characteristics of the site to actually save on costs, but still deliver the program for the site. We have submitted and pending approval of the 4% low-income housing tax credit application for the site. Next slide. Fayette Place. Right now we're excited. We had a community meeting on Fayette Place back, I believe, last month around April the 17th or so. Very exciting. We had great turnout. This took place at the Hayti Heritage Center. We took advantage of again, the characteristics of the Hayti Centers, kind of set up as an art museum. We had different stations there reporting, had our developer partners there and our third-party professionals there talking about the site development. Here is an overview of the current site. If you see in the little triangle there at the front on the drawing to the right, there is actually the community center that's going into the site. This first phase is going to be about 250 units, slightly a little less because of dealing with some of the elevation matters on the site. We had to reduce the number of units from the 252. I think we're down to about 246 right now. Not a significant change in the number of units, but that first phase, initially we were going to do about 190 units for 4% tax credit, and then the remainder 90 units and a 9%, but we combined the two projects. And so we are now, we got our waiver approval from the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. We'll do all 252 as 4%. We are preparing to submit our application probably sometime in the late May, June for the 4% application for this project. There are some, just some other elevation demonstrations there to showing the main entrance into the site off of Olmsted. The site does include some single-family ownership opportunities on the two phases for the townhomes, and I think we are looking at somewhere about 43 townhomes right now. Along with the first phase of the multifamily, we are looking to start with the development of the single family or the townhomes. We also are continuing. Recently, we got some updated interest from a grocery chain to take a look at the site for some of the commercial retail site. I think that there's a tour next week with this proprietor, next week with our developer to take a look at that site. So that's an ongoing. We know that is one of the requests from the community. We know this area is a food desert, so we are trying to address that. It would be great if we could do that in the early phases of the project to have that going simultaneously. But we also know that given the economics of looking at a grocery store, we may have to put the first phase of the development there, showing the additional doors for potential customers to attract that grocer. So I guess we can say we have fingers crossed that we can bring that to the market with the initial phase. Go to the next slide there. The next slide is just showing some of the potential elevations. They're going to be basically multiple size buildings. There's some, I think we have one that's maybe 32, 36 units. We also have the ones that are 16 units. Most of the 16 units are there along Olmsted that faces the actual single-family residential community. This was a request of the community as part of the community engagement as far as to the changing elevations, as they wanted it to step up in the higher density to the back of the property, and then the lower density to the portion of the property facing the existing community, because we thought that from an aesthetic standpoint, it was a better tie-in to the community and, you know, from a density standpoint. So what you're seeing now will change because, you know, as we go about the planning process and making adjustments, you know, these elevations will change, and as we price out the final features of the units, there will be some changes as well. You know, like, you know, the reductions in units that happened very early on because in our looking at our plans, we wanted to have larger second and third bedrooms and the functionality of those. So that's the reason that we lost some units in the actual count, making those adjustments in the footprints of the buildings for their additional square footage for the second and third bedroom. So making them more functional and tweaking the design. So one of the other things we were looking at, tweaking the design, so we actually have a dining area within the units, separate from the kitchens. So those are some of the things that we are trying to incorporate into our planning process that's underway. And as I mentioned, you know, this is an evolving process as we evaluate those options. That's the end. I'll stop and see if there are any questions.
Any questions for Anthony?
Hi, it's Lisa. I do have a question.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wondered if there's any plans for sustainability, like solar panels, water retention, community gardens, anything like that in any of the properties?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
Hi,
Any
this-
other questions? Yeah.
Hi, this is Shannon. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to comment that I'm so happy to see the various projects and the stronger partnership with the city, with the Housing Authority. It is very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Anthony. It was great to see all the progress, especially on Elizabeth Street.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving through our agenda, next up we have Renee Jones, who's going to be talking to us from the United Minority Contractors.
Hello, everyone. So I do have my fearless leader with me here tonight, Ms. Patrice Haley. So we will be tag teaming our presentation. And Benita, oh, it was showing.
There we go.
Yeah, you can go to the next slide. And so we do have a few new team members. Just wanted to let you all know, just in case you get any correspondence or information from them. Yadira Ortiz has joined our team. She couldn't be with us tonight. And then we also have Tim Mukisa Yadira is working with us a lot in the administrative roles and really helping us put together a lot of resources, especially on the workforce side. So she's working closely with Brenda. And then Tim is working very closely with me, doing a lot of the minority and women-owned business outreaches, so that we can cover more ground and put the word out there along with our general contractors to help them to make sure that we make our goals. So just wanted to introduce the team, the new members of the team to you. And you could go to the next slide. So as usual, we've been very busy. Just wanted to give you an update on through April. Since we've started, what are some of the things that we've been working on? Of course, we continue to work with the small businesses on trainings on various topics, whatever it is that they need at the time. So some of them are group trainings, but a lot of them are one-to-one sessions, very specific to their needs. We're always very close to our general contractors, making sure their compliance is up, and we're continuing to, as we encounter new developers that are coming on with these projects, we're meeting with them often and early to make sure that they understand all of the requirements for their particular project. In addition to that, as I mentioned, Tim and myself and Patrice are always attending as many events in the Triangle area as possible. Sometimes we venture out a little bit, like last night I went out to Sanford, but to a small business event, but we try to stay in the Triangle area to tell them about these projects that are coming up. And so we're very visible to the construction community. And then, of course, there's always this project-specific outreaches that are being held. And we're continuing to work with new firms that we encounter either through our referrals from other folks or referrals from our GCs to help them with their hub certification. So we're always busy in the work. And one thing that I did want to reiterate is that the information that are on our reports, we do confirm the payments once the project is coming to substantial completion or completion. We want to make sure that everything that we report to you is not only information that we've gotten from the general contractors or developers, but that we have confirm those payments with those small businesses and minority and women-owned businesses. So these are just two of the contracts now that we are doing that work on payment confirmation. Now I'll turn it over to Patrice. I don't hear.
Patrice, are you muted? Hmm. I'm not hearing anything. And I don't see that you're muted, so there you go. I think that
Okay, I can hear you all.
we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
So I am here to present information related to our, I'm sorry, I'm hearing an echo. 1 second. Can you all hear me still?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. So I am presenting information on the numbers related to how well the general contractors that we're working on various projects within the Forever Home Durham program are doing. You can see on the screen a snapshot of what that looks like. So each month we collect the data updated from the general contractors and put it into this dashboard. Right now, in total, the Forever Home Durham project is sitting at around $132 million in addressable spend. So those are the projects that we have currently in the program that are active. Of that addressable spend, about 36 million of that is going to certified diverse businesses. And you can see from the first little donut chart that represents approximately 11.4% with women and 12.6% with Hispanic and 2.6% with Black and African American. So in terms of our minority versus women participation across the entire program, we're definitely exceeding right now the goals that have been established. When you scroll down to the pay to date, because not only do we like to track the commitments that our subcontractors have made, and general contractors have made, we also like to track what they've paid, because that's really where the rubber meets the road when money and finances begin to hit the hands of small businesses. And you can see there, of the 26.5 million that's been paid to date across all of the subcontractors, 11.9%. 11.9 million of that have been paid to Hub certified businesses. So again, spend is trending in alignment with the progress of the projects. And as Mr. Snell pointed out, a lot of what we've seen over the last 30 days have been a demonstration of activity on the Elizabeth Street project, for example. And this slide doesn't show it because we couldn't get all of it on a slide, but part of the dashboard and the report that we send over to Reginald's office each month demonstrates what that breakdown looks like project by project. So we have a ton of additional information that kind of provides those details project specific wise, but definitely a lot of the activity has been on that Elizabeth Street project. So it's exciting to watch and see all of that hard work that we tried to encourage the general contractors to do in pre-construction, in bidding out work, and providing work opportunities for small and diverse businesses. It's great to see that starting to actually come to fruition through the payment process. So next slide. So as Renee pointed out, up until April, we've been extremely busy with activities, both one-on-one with diverse businesses, but also just in the community, spreading the word about what's happening in Durham and how businesses can get involved. You can see that there are actually 4 events that we have on our calendars right now, but certainly more to come as spring and summer continue. Activity in our industry starts to get busy, of course. So first and foremost is the City of Raleigh Small Business Forum. It's pretty much a tradition in the Research Triangle area for people to attend this event. Anyone who's working in the industry in the public and private sector tend to attend this event. So we're hopeful that there'll be a lot more great subcontractors for us to meet and introduce to the Forever Home Durham program. In addition to that, United Minority Contractors itself hosts an annual meeting each year, which is really our signature event to spread the word about project opportunities that are in the area and across the state. And so we'll be looking to engage with contractors from all over North Carolina to tell them about the opportunity in Durham. And then third is the Women Take No Bull Conference, which is a personal favorite of mine. A lot of great, strong, dynamic women who are working in all sectors of industry attend that event. But we'd like to spread the word with that audience just about how much investment Durham is making into some affordable housing and how they can get involved. And then the last thing is the MWBE coordinators quarterly meeting that happens in July of 2024. That event is wonderful and that organization is wonderful because it is a representation of all individuals who are diversity practitioners across the state of North Carolina. So we get a lot of traction by telling them about the program because they in turn tell businesses that they work with and interact with on a daily basis. Next slide. I'd just like to wrap up by just continuing to thank Reginald and Mr. Snell and the entire team at the City of Durham just for how much they have been engaging with us, allowing us to serve the citizens of Durham in this capacity and help you bring what I believe to be a remarkable program and the ambitions that the city of Durham has around affordable housing actually is to be commended. So I would agree with Shannon that this is fantastic to watch and even more of an honor for us to be a part of. So thank you very much.
All right, do we have any questions for Renee or Patrice? No, well, thank you both and everyone from UMC. I know you got a few people here. You might have a quorum bigger than that, so.
I think Ms. Snell had a question, Courtney.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Who had a question?
I thought Mr. Snell's hand was up, but no.
Yeah, my hand was up just to echo the cooperation that we receive from UMCNC. This is a working relationship and a growing relationship because we do pick up the phone and talk to one another about the good, the bad, and the ugly to try to get us there. So I do want to personally commend them for all of the support that they are giving us to try to make this truly a top-notch mission of ours to be inclusive across all of our endeavors.
Great. Well, that all sounds very positive. So thank you all. Okay, moving on to Reginald on a community development update.
All right, thank you. And thank you so much. A couple of points I would just like to say, you know, this is great working with the Housing Authority on behalf of the residents of Durham to help support the Housing Authority in their projects in creating and stabilizing and expanding the amount of housing, affordable housing for our residents who need affordable housing. And I really do appreciate UMCNC for the work that they're doing in helping us to meet the community's goals of minority and women-owned business participation. Before I begin, I just do want to do a couple of introductions from the city side. We do have Bridget Stevenson, who's on the call. She oversees the UMCNC contract, and she also does our contracting and compliance. And that means all of our monitoring and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows her. So wave your hand, Bridget. All right. And then I do want to also introduce Bridget's boss, our new assistant director, Tanya Coleman, who has been with us, Tanya, what, about a month now?
Yeah, I think we're right at 32 days.
32 days, so yeah, right at a month.
But who's counting, right?
There you go. I'm not tracking it that hard.
Yeah, Tanya has joined us as assistant director overseeing the strategy division of the department. She comes to us from the HUD field office in Knoxville, Tennessee, where she served as a community and planning development rep. And she's also worked for the city of Memphis and the city of Charlotte. And so I'm glad to have her here, because it's been a year since I've had an assistant director, and I've only been functioning with one, now I have two. And so I'm glad she's here. So thank you, Tina. And then also I do, Madam Co-Chair, want to take the opportunity to introduce Councilmember Chelsea Cook, who's on, she's the liaison for the City Council to the Affordable Housing Implementation Committee. And so I know she had kind of snuck on, but you know, we definitely want to recognize her. You know, since I think this is her first meeting. So I don't know, council member, if you want to have any words to say.
Thank you for that. For those of you who don't know me, Chelsea Cook, I work in eviction diversion in Durham. So I have been around this conversation in a different capacity for a long time. And Reginald will tell you that I am here to ask a lot of questions and learn as much as I can. So if ever you have data you want to share with me or anything that you think is important, I am all ears. I'm happy to put my contact information in the chat. But for right now, I'm enjoying hearing all the updates and learning as much as I can. So thanks so much.
Thank you, council member. So what I do, unfortunately, I have you've heard two exciting updates. I have to come in with the most boring one to talk about my money and numbers. But, you know, to be that as it may, I'll just share. I just want to draw attention to some highlights on this spreadsheet that you've seen before. And we, you know, have gone through it at one time, line by line. Of course, we're not going to go through it line by line tonight. So don't worry about that. I'm just going to, you know, hit some key spots. But just to orientate everybody to the sheet, Benita, I'm going to ask you to go to the upper left corner on it. So if you can just go to the upper left corner. And I've asked Benita to email this to everyone so that they have. And if you remember, this is a listing of all of the projects that are in a Forever Home Durham. And this is an update. We share this with the manager. Our goal is to do it quarterly. And so we, you know, created this tool. And I'm not going to ask you all to focus on it, all of it tonight. We're not going to go line by line as we have done before. I'm just going to talk about some broad categories, but to orient yourself, you know, go on the left-hand side, going down all the various categories of spending, and then each of those line items are projects, specific projects with contract numbers and that kind of, you know, project managers. What I would just want to orientate yourself, one, to the projects in the listing as we talked about before, and then also the column F. F is for funding source. And that outlines the funding source, a combination of fundings that fund that particular project. And just, we can send out a guide. The CDBG is federal funds, community development block grant, ESG, emergency solutions grants. Dedicated housing fund is the 2 cents on the tax rate that the city council appropriates. And what this represents is the specific funding source for each of the different projects. COC is continuing care, that's homelessness. When we get down to the most important probably for you, because you're overseeing the bond, is when it says new bond, that represents the Affordable Housing Fund bond, $95 million and where it's allocated to, and we'll go there, share that. Benita, if you can scroll over to the right. Don't go down yet, just scroll over to the right. Thank you. You go back up to the top. To the top. Okay. What I would like to do for this particular meeting is just have you to look at the FY24 projected and principally the FY25. So for everybody who's not in government, we're in the fiscal year 24 right now, as of May 2024. That's fiscal year 24. It ends on June 30th. So we actually, you know, have 2 months to go in FY24. And then FY25 starts on July 1 of 2024 and runs through June 30th. So that's the 12-month period that starts this July. That's column B. And what I wanted to share with you is that you will see the money that's projected to be spent in this year in FY24 between now and June 30th. And then the most important thing for the budget going forward, that what is the projected money that will be spent in various categories going forward. And if you go all the way down, and I'm not going to ask Benita to do that, but if you go all the way down and go to the right-hand side, the total of all of these funding sources, thank you, is going to be $159,949,395. You know that number before, because that's the total amount that's in the Forever Home Durham affordable housing plan. So all of these numbers add up to get to that number so that it balances out. So that's the other piece. So Benita, if you would go back up. And what we're going to do is just going to work our way straight down. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but you can see the funding that we have in homelessness in these two categories where we're spending projected to have projects in FY25. The only thing that I'm going to say, we are making progress in our homeless system. We do need some more resources. I put in requests to the manager to add money, and we think it's going to be in her budget, a recommendation for permanent supportive housing, a total of $815,000, and then some additional resources for emergency shelters for the expanding of families, and we're requesting $589,400. That's not on this sheet, but I think that if we're successful in getting that request into her budget, it goes before the council, then that will be additional funding that's not on here that we will be able to add to the homelessness in the homelessness category. If you would scroll down, Benita, go down to starting with line 46, 48. Yeah, you went too far. Scroll up. We're going to line 45.
Repeat that, Reginald.
We're going up to line 45, you're at 116.
Okay.
Let's go up a little more. A little bit more. 73, 59. Okay, you stop right there. All right, then scroll all the way over to the
Left.
yeah. Okay, this is just so we all know what we're looking at. This is the multifamily category. These are all of the projects that we use affordable housing, Forever Home Durham money in, and the amount that we have. So you see the projects. You're familiar with some. We just finished talking about Southside phases 3 and 4. We have investments in these other projects to the tune of $5, $6, $7 million. And while I'm here, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Housing Authority before we scroll over. You see the Commerce Street projects right here. All of this adds together to $8 million that we invested in, that Mrs. Snell just talked about. And you can see that it's a combination of new bond, that's the affordable housing bond. And then you have some money from home entitlement and home entitlement pre-2019. And then we also have some home program income. That's where we lend out program home funding before and they pay it back and we accumulate that money. And that's what program income is. It's like the repayment of loans. You can see also line 65 on the Elizabeth Street that we just talked about. And then, go to line, 70, that's Fayette Place. There's a projection, this is how we're supporting the housing authority that Mr. Snell talked about. And we're projecting to spend, about $17 million for Fayette Place. What's getting ready to begin, this summer, and he kind of touched on that, was Dillard A, and then there's Dillard B and C. And you can see that's going to be $1 million each for each section. And then there's some other projects he did not necessarily talk about dealing with work with Hope 6, but you can see the funding sources here as well as the amount of money. But if you go over to the right. Okay, you can stop right there. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you. And so if you look at column U and column, and you all, like I said, I have this, you'll see the projected T and U columns for FY25 and FY26 and what we have planned. I'm sorry, column V is FY25. And those include, you know, Fairhaven Walk and part of the money for Southside. We're pleased to announce that we have been able to put together Southside, which is 100 units of affordable housing, sits on 7 acres. We've completed phases 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 are 9% and a tax credit and a 4% tax credit combined. First time, then it's called a 20. And the first time that that's going to be done in the state of North Carolina. And it's going to be for 100 units of affordable housing on basically a 7-acre site. McCormick Barron Salazar is the developer. And we have actually going before the city council on Monday is the final plan to approve this project because we had to add about $8 million to it to keep it going. And we've been able to do that. We help with support of the administration and the city council. And so we expect to have probably a groundbreaking probably towards the end of summer. And so we'll let you know so that you can attend that. And we might very well have a ribbon cutting because we didn't have a ribbon cutting on phase 2 when we finished phase 2. And so we're very happy about that. The one thing I can say is that, and I shared this with the city council, that this project, along with some others, faced a lot of increases because this was during COVID that this project was conceived and submitted for tax credits, and then it was approved with one set of financial performance, but the world changed dramatically, and then it came up short because, along with some other projects, because of the cost escalations in lumber and supply chain and all the things that but we were able to put together something to keep it alive. And so we're particularly proud of that. And so we'll be proceeding with 100 units of affordable housing in Durham. If you would scroll down, and you can stop right here and go all the way to the left. All right, so and I'll jump down to just these additional projects we have. So we also have Harriet's Place, which is line number 81. We've completed the financial stack for that. And for those who are not familiar with Harriet's Place, that is the former women's YMCA that is near Hayti, and there's going to be renovated into single apartments, studios, apartments, and it was $33.2 million. And we were able to use a combination of community development block grants, CDBG, dedicated housing fund, a new bond, that's the affordable housing bond that the voters voted on, and ARPA. And so with the combination of all of those funds, part of them are here. listed here, we were able to put together the financial stack, so that'll be another 16 units that will be used. And I think it's the focus on women as well. And so we're glad to be able to put that together. You can just scroll down, Benita. Thanks, and I'm going, stop with this area. So this area is the area that we're probably the most challenged in due to COVID and the time frame, but we were able to get it started. Of course, this is our down payment assistance program money, and we've closed on, I think, 3 loans already, where we give up to $80,000 in funding to persons who are qualified. We had to decrease that up to 20, from 20 to up to 80, and there's a couple additional loans in the pipeline right now, so we just getting it kicked off, but people are very interested in it. Of course, it's, subject to the economy and, what the feds do or don't do, and that kind of thing. But we have done presentations with the realtors and different lenders, and the program works. It's on our website, and you can go to directly persons to our website and down payment assistance program. And what people do is contact lenders. There are about 22 loan officers, I think about 14 banks, financial institutions that participate in the program. We are going to continue our legal, our eviction diversion. We're looking at, and that's one of the things we had to discuss with the manager, about $650,000 going for the eviction diversion. And then the home repair, minor repair, are actually getting ready to be requests for proposals that are going out in probably the next 30 days, that we have money set aside for those programs. So the minor repairs, anything below, has been below 9,500, but we're actually going to expand that to 15,000. And then with substantial repair has historically been up to about 50,000, but we're going to increase that as well to about 65. And so those are going out in requests for proposals. You can scroll over, Benita, just scroll over to the right. So when you get to look at the sheet more closely, you'll see the amount of money that we have allocated for those programs. And then I'll close with one of the things, if you scroll over to the left, Benita, and this will be the last one. All the way to the left. Yeah. So we have, I'll go to line 116. We did put out a request for proposals for Beeman Assemblage. The Beeman Assemblage is the land that is off of South Roxborough, across the street behind Gethsemane Baptist Church. That's part of the bungalows at Southside. It's about, just about 3 acres, and we put out an RFP for developers to develop that, and it's going to be home ownership in some form. And so we're in the final stages of making a recommendation to the manager on how to proceed with that. You'll see the money that we have that's allocated to being part of that line 116, new bond that's part of the affordable housing bond, that's 2.4 million. But we're expecting to put several units of home ownership. Yeah, we have a vendor that I'm not going to name right now in this setting, because we need to complete a process with the manager and then be prepared to submit to the council. And so, but we're optimistic about that as well. So I've gone on for a little bit. Like I said, I had the most boring part of these 3 presentations and came in last at that. But I did want to share with you just to give you a financial update on where we are. So I'll stop there. And that's all I would share this evening, but I stand for any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions for Reginald? I was looking to see, yeah, so you said that that was going to be emailed out for those of us that were
Yes.
struggling to see all those numbers.
Yes, this email, she will email, if she hasn't, she will.
Okay.
We'll email it out to everybody so that you'll have it. And you know, we can stand for questions. You can always send me questions at any time. It doesn't have to be tonight.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't have any questions. All right, thank you for going through that, Reginald, and thank you, Benita, for navigating that monster of a spreadsheet.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Okay, I think we are ready to move into any public comments if there are people that are. Okay, in they are, okay. So I see a couple names in there. Does anybody in the public have any comments or questions? Okay. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So we are, yeah, just at 7 o'clock. So great timing. Benita, if we could just move the approval of the minutes to the next agenda, then we can take care of that item of business when we've got a quorum, hopefully. Okay. Thank you all very much. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Right.